If you're new here, I break down trucking news so drivers actually understand what it means for them. On this video, I'm going deep into a topic that most people are too scared to touch. I'm going beyond the headlines and the surface level complaints that you hear at the truck stop. I'm talking about a systematic shift in how the CDL is issued, who is behind the wheel, and why the driver shortage narrative is the perfect cover for a movement that is putting your safety and your paycheck at risk. I want to start by looking at a comment one of you guys left. This comment didn't just scratch the surface, it dug into the legal loopholes that are allowing thousands of inexperienced drivers to bypass the traditional path to a trucking career. It's about the non-domiciled CDL and the rise of the work permit trucker. Most of us know how it usually works. You live here, you have a permanent address, you go to school, you pass your test, and you get your CDL. But there is a category of licenses called the non-domiciled CDL. According to the FMCSA, a non-domiciled CDL is issued to someone who lives in a foreign country but is working here, or someone who is not a U.S. citizen but has a legal work permit. The commenter pointed out something crucial. It isn't just about drivers coming over the border from Canada or Mexico. It's about people entering the country being issued an EAD, an employment authorization document, and using that to jump straight into the cab of a Class 8 vehicle. Here is the part that should worry every veteran driver. These work permits were being issued on humanitarian grounds or while asylum cases were being processed. On paper, that sounds like a government processing issue. In reality, that permit became a golden ticket. It allowed someone who may have never driven a motorized vehicle on a high-speed interstate to enter a CDL program. The commenter was right. Just because the government has to process a refugee doesn't mean they have to drive a big rig. But why are they pushed in that direction? Because the industry, specifically the mega carriers, have created a vacuum that needs to be filled with the cheapest labor possible. So let's talk about the complexity of the road. That was a phrase used in the comment, and it's a powerful one. If you've driven for 10, 20, or 30 years, you have a sixth sense. You know when the car 3 lanes over is about to make a dumb move. You know how your trailer feels in a crosswind. Now, imagine someone who hasn't even driven a car in the United States for a single year. They haven't dealt with our signage or our traffic patterns. And we're putting them in an 80,000-pound rig. The commenter brought up a tragic example, the illegal U-turn in Florida that killed 6 people. We see these reports every day now. Rollovers on clear days, trucks wedged under bridges. Now, this isn't just bad luck. This is the result of a total lack of road complexity knowledge. You cannot teach 20 years of road awareness in a 3-week CDL mill. As of February 11th, 2026, the game has officially changed. Transportation Secretary Sean Duffy finalized a rule that effectively shuts the EAD loophole for good. The rule is simple: no more EADs. As of March 15, 2026, a standard work permit is no longer enough to get or renew a CDL. Eligibility is now strictly limited to H-2, H-2B, and E-2 visa holders. Why? Because these visas require federal vetting before the driver ever enters the U.S. States are now mandated to use the SAVE system to verify status every single time a license is touched. The government is finally admitting that the previous system was a blunder. They estimate that nearly 194,000 current drivers across the country will be unable to renew their licenses under these new standards. The federal government is cracking down, but the states are where the real drama is happening because the feds are now threatening their highway money. Just a few weeks ago, an audit found that nearly 1 in 5 non-domiciled CDLs in Illinois were issued illegally. Secretary Duffy has given Illinois 30 days to revoke those licenses or lose $128 million in federal funding. The state is fighting back, but the feds are holding the checkbook. Texas has already moved. Since November, the Texas DPS has already canceled over 6,400 CDLs held by asylees and DACA recipients. They aren't waiting for the March deadline. They are scrubbing the records now to stay in compliance and keep their roads safe. California is currently being sued by a coalition of groups after the DMV tried to cancel 17,000 licenses. The state has pushed their deadline to March 6, 2026, but they are under a final determination of substantial noncompliance. If they don't fall in line, they stand to lose their $160 million. Now, let's talk about the business side, insurance. When these unvettable drivers cause major accidents, it leads to nuclear verdicts. That's lawsuits that exceed $10 million. Insurance companies are fleeing the trucking market because they can't vet the driver history of someone who just arrived on an EAD. They view the entire non-domicile pool as a high risk. This means your premiums goes up. Even if you have 1,000,000 miles accident free, the insurance companies raise the floor for every owner operator to cover the cost of these massive training level errors. The commenter made a brilliant point about vetting drivers, but we have to talk about the companies. This has given birth to Chameleon Carriers. These are fleets that hire exclusively non-domiciled drivers, run them until their CSA scores are glowing red, and then shut down and open a new DOT number the next day using the same trucks and the same drivers. Now, on February 18th, 2026, Congresswoman Harriet Hagman introduced the SAFE Act, the Safety and Accountability in Freight Enforcement. This bill directs the FMCSA to use an advanced automation tool to flag these ghost companies by looking for recycled equipment, matching phone numbers, and shared addresses. These carriers are the ones undercutting your rates because they don't care about safety. They just rotate their identity. As a business owner, you are competing against people who aren't playing by the rules. Here is how you stay alive. So this is how you spot a chameleon. If a carrier on a load board has a DOT number that is 30 days old, but they are running 2019 equipment, be suspicious. You also have to know your break even. These slave wage fleets can run for pennies because they don't pay for proper insurance or maintenance. Do not chase them to the bottom. Stick to your cost per mile. Your standard must be high at the end of the day. Now, this isn't a conversation about where a person was born. It's a conversation about the integrity of the professional driver. When the standards for a CDL are traded for cheap labor, that's devaluing everything that we work for. The complexity of the road is something that you earn through miles, sweat, and close calls. You can't fast track it, and you certainly can't replace it with a work permit. The 2026 crackdown is a start, but the real change comes when we, as an industry, stop letting the driver shortage lie justify the destruction of our safety and our wages. Now, if you are out there on the road right now, keep your head on a swivel. Watch out for the rigs that look like they're struggling with the basics, because it might just be someone who was thrown into the deep end without a life jacket. Now, on this video, I did a small breakdown of the policy, but I want to hear your stories. Have you seen these chameleon carriers on the road? Have you been undercut by a slave wage fleet? Drop a comment below and let's get the truth out there. Also, make sure you smash that like button, subscribe to the channel, share the video, and turn on post notifications. And if you own a box truck or thinking about buying one, check out my Final Mile Contract Plug Pack. The Plug Pack has a list of 25 companies in your area that are looking to partner with owner-operators and provide you a guaranteed work, so there's no more fighting on the load board for loads or dealing with brokers trying to get you to haul cheap freight. Now, I also give you a cold outreach script so you know exactly what to say when you contact the dispatcher or recruiter. There's also a compliance and insurance checklist to make sure your business is set up the right way before you apply, and an SOP template. That's the standard operating procedures, so you can run your operation like a business and not a hustle. Also, check out the video below on the screen where I talk about how 500 CDL schools were shut down. On this video, I cover the CDL purge, negligent hiring, and the price spike for legitimate training. Once again, I'm Marcellus with Trucking with MBR. Stay safe, and like I said, keep your head on the swivel. I'll see you on the next video.